Hey there you guys, welcome back. I just wanted to share some of my success stories with you with some of my plants. As you know, I've been trying to grow a bunch more Aroids, some of the unique ones, and it's been a challenge for me to keep them alive. As you know, in my 5 easy care houseplants that I kill video, many of those were philodendrons like pothos or Aroids. They were. So yeah, it's quite challenging, and many of these are quite expensive. This here is a Philodendron Pastazanum, and it was on my wish list, and it is gorgeous, but I basically almost killed it a few months ago. I transplanted it. When I got it from ream.ca. It was a very small plant, and I planted it in sphagnum moss in a little cup and kept it moist, and it did beautifully. The root system was developing amazing. And I think I overpotted it. I think I potted it into a 6-inch pot with a mixture of free draining potting soil, the same stuff that's in here, the HP, Promix HP. I also put some sphagnum moss. I also put some orchid bark, all kinds of stuff in there to try to make it airy and free draining. But I think it stayed too wet, possibly because I overpotted it. I put it in a 6-inch pot, like I said. So it ended up losing all of its leaves, and I thought it was a goner. There was one white root developing on it, and it was only in that new pot for maybe 2 weeks, and it just was a steady decline. It was very, very scary. And once I transplanted it into this little pot, and I was really monitoring the water, like this needs a drink right now, it's very, very light. Within a month, I started seeing a new growth. I actually started going online looking for a new baby Pastazanum, but I didn't want to break the bank. Right now they're quite expensive. So I didn't really want to spend that kind of money again, but thank goodness it started to grow again, and it is rewarding me with much larger leaves. The leaves are significantly bigger than they used to be, and I've got a nice sized stem going on here. I don't know whether you're able to see, but there's also some little roots developing here. So I can't wait to repot this. I might transplant it into a slightly larger pot very soon. Not just yet. I want to see how it grows. But since it started into its better growth pattern, more stronger growth pattern, it hasn't stopped putting out new leaves. So that's fantastic. And each new leaf has been bigger than the last. And as you can see, this leaf has just come out. I think I posted on Instagram when it finally unfurled, and it's got a new leaf developing here, as you can probably see right in there. So I'm very excited to see that that's happening. So we'll see what happens. I've been giving it a bath under running water each time, maybe once a week. I just rinse off the leaves because I do have spider mites on my alocasias, which is not uncommon. I want to make sure that the spider mites don't hang out on this guy. So we'll see what happens. And another thing is possible thrips. I think that my Monstera has a little bit of a thrip situation. Not overwhelming. I've been checking it and wiping it down and doing that sort of thing, but still, thrip is a problem with Monstera. Anyway, that is my Philodendron Pastazanum. It's doing rather nicely, and I can't wait for it to get a little bit bigger to show off a little bit more. And I can't wait to put it somewhere in the house that it gets noticed and is seen, and it could be appreciated a little bit more. But I do like it in the grow room. Next one here. This one's not looking as nice as the Pastazanum, but it's still a nice one. This is the Philodendron Burlmarks variegated, and it took a little while. When I got it from ASEAN Plant Export in Thailand, it had these big leaves on it. I put this little support in here to hold the leaves up because they were a little bit floppy, but those leaves are a little worse for wear, but they're still looking pretty good for coming. They haven't died coming from Thailand, but they finally started to put out some new growth. And look at this beautiful variegation on this one. That is a nice half moon. I think that's what it's called, variegation. It's so pretty. But the leaves are quite small. I'm going to give it time, and it will start to produce bigger leaves as it grows. And I'm just super excited that there's multiple growth points on here. And eventually I will take some cuttings and yeah, maybe have some available. It's also fun to have a little insurance policy as well, just in case I make another mistake, like I did with the Pastazanum. Another one that I've been having troubles with, but it's finally starting to work in my favor, is the Plow Mania, the Philodendron Plow Mania. So the leaves are a little bit worse for wear. I've been having an issue with this one. First off, it was a little bit too close to the grow light. So the leaves were a little bit washed out. And then I got a tiny little spider mite issue, but that's under control. I've been rinsing the leaves off, like with the Pastazanum. I've been rinsing them off religiously, at least once a week, taking it in and giving it a bath. And what I love about this one is the veining is very, very textured on the leaf. And it's just very relaxing to come in and just lightly touch the leaf and just feel that ripple in there. It's so pretty. It's this is the newest leaf that came out, and I'm not sure what happened, but I ended up tearing the side off the leaf, and I was devastated when I saw that. But this plant seems to be a really, really fast grower, and within a week or so, it started putting out another leaf. So hopefully this one's going to be a full leaf. There's a little bit of a mark on it. I'm not sure what has happened. I try not to touch the leaves as they're trying to develop, just because they're so easily damaged in the unfurling stage. And yeah, fingers crossed that one comes out in a full leaf shape. I'm trying to maintain my humidity. Right now, the humidity is 45%. I ordered another humidifier. I broke one of my other ones. The reservoir, I was carrying it back to the humidifier, and after refilling it, and the handle broke, and it's smashed on the floor. So a lot of water. Thank God I'm in the basement and there's drains. But if that happened upstairs, my hardwood floor would be a mess, I'm sure. So anyway, I've got another humidifier on order. I really want it to stay above 50% at minimum. Right now it's shocking at 45, so that's not great. So anyway, this is the Plow Mania Philodendron. I really enjoy this one. Like I said, I don't want to play with that leaf. The really textured veining. And this one here, this is one of my shingling plants. This is the Rafa de Fora Hayii, H-A-Y-I-I, I believe. And it's just doing beautifully. Oh my gosh. It's reached the top of its pole, and it's working its way around the pole. It's just a piece of, I think it's a piece of cedar, I believe. And it's just loving it. I took some fishing line and wrapped some sphagnum moss around the pole. I wrapped the sphagnum moss onto the pole with the fishing line, and I just need to remember to keep the moss moist. So that's the biggest challenge. But this one has an interesting leaf. I love this the shingling plants. This one doesn't have any really fun markings on the leaf, which I wish that it did. The Cryptantha is not growing as well. It's still alive, but I love the Cryptantha for the modeling in the leaf, as well as the Monstera dubia. It has the real, I don't want to say variegation, but a coloring on the leaf, and that makes it much, much nicer to look at. But this one is really, really cool, and I'm so happy that it's reached the top of the pole, and in time I will take some cuttings of this and try to propagate it. Fingers crossed it does well. I'm sure it will. So that's that one, a nice success. Another fun one, this is in a Gasneriad or just Neread, and this one is called Sedingia Peachy Propeller. So this one has an interesting flower where it's kind of like the alien from Aliens, where it has the mouth, the petal, it's kind of like a bract that comes off, and then it's like the baby alien coming out of the mouth of the alien. I'm really not describing it well, but it's like a flower within a flower. It's really, really interesting. So that one's really cool. I like that one. The leaves are, I don't know, they're not bad. They're nice and fuzzy, but the flower is what really makes it cool. So that is very interesting. I love this one when it blooms. It actually blooms quite often. It goes a little bit dormant, but never completely dies back, and then it comes back, and then it probably flowers 3 times a year, maybe 4, and yeah, super rewarding plant. Really easy care as well. Another one is this one in the background. I don't know that I can bring it down here very easily. This one here, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but it is a bird's nest Antherium, and I think it's Antherium Hooker Eye. But maybe you could let me know in the comment section below what you think it is. It's quite big. I do know that it's a bird nest, And I bought it in the summertime of this year, of 2020. Was it 20? Yeah. Yes, I bought it this summer. I had to think about that. And it's just done beautifully. It only had 2 leaves when I first purchased it, and I think these 2 leaves are you can't even see. This leaf behind here where I'm holding, and then this leaf. And it's grown 3 new leaves, and each new leaf is bigger than the last. I think the newest leaf is almost 3 feet long. There you go. The thing that's happening to this one is it's getting some light green marks on the leaves. I'm not sure whether it's showing up. Kind of a little bit of mottling, but not too bad. I was wondering if there was an insect damage happening, but every time I look at this leaf, I don't see any pests on it. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. This plant barely needs any water. Every time I check it, it's in like a 3-gallon pot. Every time I check it with the moisture meter, it's dry for the first 2 or 3 inches, and then it gets wet down below. So I'm really not even touching it with water. Occasionally I'll give it a little bit of a splash to moisten the top layer, but it really doesn't get much. And it's just a beautiful plant. I can't wait to see what happens as it gets even bigger. Like I said, I've only had this for a few months. I'm gonna say maybe 6 months, and it's just amazing. It's done so well, better than I could have expected. Super happy that I got this one, and I hope in time it divides. I'd like 2 of them. So I'll put this back. I don't want to damage the leaves on it. They're really, really thick and very leathery, so I don't think I'd damage them. Another one, I'm just new to begonias, and this begonia, when I got it, it was really damaged, really banged up, and it started putting out new leaves under my care, and I'm really growing on, it's really growing on me. This is a Begonia maculata, and I'm not sure if it's whitey or whitey eye, but we'll find out when it flowers. It's either going to have pink flowers, and that's just maculata, and if it has white flowers, it's whitey eye. But either way, I'm really happy about this plant. I've been really diligent about letting it dry out pretty well completely between waterings, and it's rewarding me with really nice growth. I've killed most begonias in the past, but this season, so far, begonias are doing really, really well for me. I've got some really nice Rex begonias off to the side. I think I'm going to try propagating some soon, and I have another cane begonia that's called Pegasus. You guys have probably seen it in one of my tours. And it's just growing really, really nicely. It's actually rooted, I have them in my aquarium off to the side, and it's rooted into the gravel. Even if I wanted to bring it over here to show you, I don't know that I can, because it pulls the whole gravel bed underneath it up. So this is a nice begonia. I wanted to share that with you. It's a really fun success story. It's been dropping a few leaves up this cane, but it's also trying to produce leaves, new branches on this particular cane. I don't know whether you're able to see here, but it's got new little growth tips coming on there. So it might have dropped the leaf because it's starting to branch out at that particular joint. But it's super fun. I'm going to try to propagate these soon, especially if it's a whitey eye. I'd like to have a couple more that I can put out in the garden in the spring in a shady bed. So this one is another philodendron. This one is gloriosum, and it's done really, really well for me. It's been a pretty steady grower. It's in a little 4-inch pot, but I think I need to give it a little bit bigger of a pot. I don't want to go too big because I don't want it to not dry out fast. So I might go with a terracotta pot if I have to go bigger. I'm going to try to go with maybe a bulb pan so that it doesn't have excess soil. It can have more growing space, but it doesn't have a lot of depth. Because I don't think that they don't have really a deep root system. They just have, they're trailing along the soil surface, and they develop roots along there. So I don't need to have a deep pot per se. A shallow pot should be fine. Rambling, but this one here, it's been doing rather well. The leaf sizes are finally starting to jump up, and I'm super excited about that. I had some issues a few months ago where I think I had the light too close to it, and the leaves were getting bleached out, and we've got that under control. I've moved the light away, and the leaves are starting to become a little bit more uniform and not washed out looking. And also, the leaves are getting bigger, and I think that that's why. So I'm not sure what happened. my camera stopped working. So yeah, abrupt end to the gloriosum. It is it's one of my favorites right now. I really enjoy looking at it. I enjoy watching the leaf develop, and the color of those leaves are really, really beautiful. Those veins are spectacular. So we'll go to the next plant, and I believe this is the last one for this particular video because we're getting a little lengthy. But I have so many more that are really special to me and are growing really, really well for me. But this one will be the last one for this, and it is the Philodendron Florida Ghost. Look at those leaves. Those leaves are spectacular. Oh my gosh. They come out this beautiful white color, possibly a very light green. There's a lot of speculation out there whether there's different varieties like a mint ghost or the Florida ghost, like the white. But supposedly they're all kind of the same. But you're going to get varying shades of green out of them. They start off more white or light, and then they progressively go into a darker green. So this plant is super, super special to me. I got this one from the ASEAN plant export in Thailand, as you guys probably know from the unboxing. And this particular one has grown beautifully for me. I'm really, really at odds with myself. I really want to take a cutting of this. This plant has a few different growth points, and I want to take a cutting, propagate it, because why not have a few more? And because this one's growing so beautifully, and maybe activate some of the lower growth points that are in this. I don't know whether you're able to see them in here, but right by my finger, there's a growth point. No. There we go. There's a growth point there. I hope you're able to see it. And then there's another one just below it. And if I cut the top section off, I'm hoping that it will activate the growth so it grows a little bit faster and better. But I don't know. Things might backfire on me. There's a lot of little aerial roots developing, so this top portion should root rather quickly and easily and just be off to the races again. But this has been putting out a new leaf after a new leaf after a new leaf, and it's just been phenomenal. I've had a lot of fun growing this plant, and I can't wait for the leaves to mature. I need to give it a better pole. When I repot it into a slightly bigger pot, I will give it an actual pole to try to ramble up. But right now, it's just doing beautifully. Tell me what you think about this one. I'd love to see photos of your Florida ghosts if you have them. Tag me on Instagram or post them to the Plants and Things What's Growing page. This particular one is super, super special, and it's so unique. Like, how can you not love this? It's like a variegation, but it's like this naturally. How great is that? I don't have to worry about it reverting. So yeah. So this is the last plant that's on this little list of mine. If you want to call it a list, I wouldn't, but I did. So anyway, show me what's growing well for you at this time. I'd love to see some of your aroids, just whatever's growing nicely for you. I have a very broad interest in plants, so I'd love to see everything that you guys are growing. And yeah, hopefully you guys have some continued success with your growing. And yeah, until next time, you guys, happy growing.